All right, let's go to Nordstream. This is just one of the most laughable things that you are ever gonna read. And I'm with a straight face going to attempt to show you what the new intelligence is showing you around the Nordstream pipeline bombing. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. Investigators are skeptical of a yacht's role in the Nordstream pipeline bombing. Officials believe more than one vessel might have been involved in sabotaging the natural gas pipeline and wonder if a 50-foot sailing yacht that investigators have scoured for clues could be a decoy. Yeah, you think? Officials hope that the true purpose of this quote-unquote deep-sea demolition will provide further insight into high-stakes international whodunit, who could eventually lead to who is responsible and explain their motives. U.S. and European officials said they still don't know for sure who is behind the underwater attack, but several said that they shared German skepticism that a crew of 6 on a sailboat laid out hundreds of pounds of explosives that disabled the Nord Stream pipeline. Experts noted while it was theoretically possible to do that pipeline by hand, even skilled divers would be challenged, submerging more than 200 feet to the seabed, slowly rising to the surface to allow time for their bodies to decompress. In other words, this was a professional job that basically only a nation state could do. And the idea that some Ukrainian Rotary Club that happened to, acquire this 50-foot sailing boat and just row it on out there by themselves, by their own gumption, and then, professionally dove down 200 feet and then stuck a bunch of C4 all on this controlled demolition, with military-grade explosives, just seems a little bit skeptical. My personal favorite quote from the entire thing, let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen, is this, and I'm going to read it in full. At the gatherings of European and NATO policymakers, officials have settled into a rhythm. Don't talk about Nord Stream. Leaders see little benefit from digging too deeply and finding an uncomfortable answer, echoing sentiments of several peers in other countries who said they would rather not have to deal with the possibility that Ukraine or allies were involved. Interesting. Or allies. I think that's the first time that we've ever seen that. And that just opens up the entire discussion as to how all of this is playing out. I mean, originally, nobody knew either way. Of course, there were suspicions on both sides, and you had the crazy tweet there from the Polish MP who said, "Thank you, USA, for blowing up the pipeline," before he then deleted it. But yeah, I didn't want to speak declaratively or any of that, despite suspicions. Then, though, the New York Times, through these CIA leaks, comes out and it's like, no, it was the Ukrainians. Like, the Ukrainians are the ones who did it. We see Ukrainian hand. But by the way, Zelensky didn't have anything to do with it, so don't worry about that. It was just like a bunch of rogue, private Ukrainians who happened to do this. But then, obviously, everyone was like, well, how did the Ukrainians have this technology? Like, how do they have the, the logistics, the wherewithal to pull off an operation like this? And so, increasingly, these European allies are like, yeah, we just don't really want to know who blew up the pipeline, which is actually crazy because at the time, they considered it one of the most significant acts outside of the conflict and thought it was a genuine act of war by the Russians with fears that it would spiral into a global conflict. But now, even though, per their words, they thought it was threatening, the global order and their own energy supply and all of that, they're like, nah, we have no interest.
Let's just move on. Let's just move on. Right. They actually had another piece in here. They said, it's like a corpse at a family gathering, this European diplomat said. Everyone can see there's a body lying there, but pretends things are normal. It's better not to know.
Okay.
I mean, it is amazing. And it is also amazing how pathetic that explanation they tried to run in the New York Times of like, oh, it's this little like dinky yacht and a group of Ukrainian affiliated, partisans, but not affiliated with the government, just the Ukrainian Rotary Club operating on their own, was such obvious bullshit that even the mainstream press had to acknowledge that this seems utterly preposterous. But of course, they won't give any credence to the reporting from Seymour Hersh.
Yes.
With all the details about what what his sources suggest actually happened with regards to the U.S. potentially being involved in blowing this thing up. It really is beyond parody. And it is important to underscore this is an act of international terror. I mean, they were not wrong in the initial assessment that this is a gigantic deal, that it is an act of war, that is a dramatic escalation. But now that it looks increasingly clear and sort of undeniable that it was Ukraine or their allies, quote unquote, now they're like, well, maybe it wasn't such a big deal and we should just not talk about it.
It's just
forward.
it's a joke.
Amazing.
And, yeah, the ongoing investigation apparently is dead. So I guess we'll never know who blew up the Nordstream.
Hey guys, ready or not, 2024 is fully upon us now, and Saagar and I have been brainstorming ways that we can really up our game for this critical election.
Yeah, we rely on our premium subs to expand our coverage, to add staff, to upgrade the studio. We just want to give you the best independent coverage of this election, which is possible. So if you can help us out, become a premium subscriber today, breakingpoints.com, or the link is down here in the description video. It really means the world to us, and if you like what we're all about, this is the best possible way to keep us 100% independent, working only for you.